what is it like to be an actor in a short film?
It's interesting. I'm not entirely sure how to describe it. I thought it was fine. It was hot that day, obviously.
Yeah.
Because, it's summer in Alabama, so it's pretty hot. Even early in the morning, but I thought it was kind of fun.
Yeah. Going off what you said about it being hot, it was hot, but I still think it was still one of the best days I've had recently, because I got to spend several hours participating in something I truly love, which is making films. And I thought that was totally worth getting hot and sweaty, because I knew I would come home and take a shower later anyway, so it didn't bother me that much. Sometimes it's worth getting a bit dirty for something you love. And another question, this is kind of for anyone who's interested, is like, how do you get involved in these kinds of projects?
Well, you asked me to help you, and I just said, alright, I guess I can do that, because, well, it does kind of sound like fun at times, unless, you get hurt or you get really hot or something like that. Then it's not quite as fun, but, it was still fine nonetheless.
Yeah. I mean, specifically referring to this movie, A Fight for the Heart, what were some experiences you remember from the shoot day?
Well, getting up at about 2:45 in the morning, that was something, but specifically about the film, I suppose, the sword fighting scene was kind of interesting to do,
Yeah.
We just drove there over to the grounds of Shakespeare Festival. We just wandered around for a while, waiting for Gavin, and then we decided to start shooting the video, and I wielded the stick, and Luke wielded the sword, and, I thought it was kind of fun pretending to, kind of suck at fighting.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a fighter myself, to be honest, so even if I were trying to fight, I wouldn't do that well in an actual fight, so there's that.
And about the thing with Gabe was that I did not email him properly. I messed up in the fact that I didn't get his contact information, and so he wasn't able to help out with the shoot. So at the last minute, I was going to have Luke be the sound guy, but instead I decided to get Luke to be Ben, because my other guy, I didn't really communicate very well with him, and he didn't show up, obviously, and so I learned my lesson from that shoot, which was that I gotta be more communicative about what I want and what I'm expecting, and I think you'll have to just kind of learn as you go about how to be, more, you've got to be better about communication. Communication is how things happen, Writing a script is one thing, and planning it out is one thing, but it's actually communicating with people about when to do it and how you want it done. That is the key to how you get into this kind of thing. Because otherwise you're just wasting everybody's time if you don't have a plan and you can't communicate it clearly.
That's true.
Another thing that was pretty memorable for me was the fact that whenever I tried to record a dialogue on set, but I accidentally forgot the SD card for the microphone, and so that obviously made things a lot more complicated than they could have been otherwise, but, it taught me about how to get people to do really good impressions still, and even though we didn't have the microphone, I had to get people to come back later. And sometimes the issue with having to record audio later is that sometimes what the direct dialogue that they use in the actual shoot is not the same as what they say later on when they're recording at home, if that makes sense. So you kind of have to fight the fact that you don't have that you're not going to have the exact same words that they said on set that they're going to say in the recording studio or whatever, but you still have to work with that and just try to use what you can use what you've got to the best of your ability. And obviously, no matter how hard you try, there's going to be some screw-ups here and there, but it's generally, it's going to be worth it overall, because you just got to hope that nobody notices that, oh, that dialogue recording doesn't sync up with the visuals or something like that, you know. But you just got to hope that nobody notices those things, and thankfully, most people don't realize it, but still, it is something that you think about a lot. And like I said earlier, one thing that made the shoot extremely frustrating was the fact that we did not have a to-do list of what we wanted to do when we wanted to do it. That causes tremendous problems, because no matter how well you know your story in your head, if you don't plan out how you want things to look and what you want to shoot first and stuff like that, it becomes very difficult to actually make the film. But luckily, I guess I could say my vision saved me in the end, because I knew what I wanted to film. It's just that I didn't have a schedule, so I kept procrastinating. Oh, I don't want to edit it today, or oh, I don't want to do this or that. But eventually I did get around to finishing the movie, and of course, you know, once I got the dialogue recorded and the sound effects recorded, and after the edit, I made music for it and everything, and it eventually got finished. But like I said, it took me like an all-nighter to do it, but it was worth it. But the lesson I learned was definitely to have a plan of action, or otherwise you're just going to be, even if you don't waste people's time when you're making the movie, you're gonna waste a lot of your time, because you're not going to feel like working on it. Whereas if you have a deadline, even if you don't feel like working on it, you know that you have an expectation to meet, so you have to force yourself to work on it, because you know that there's going to be people expecting it at a certain time.
True.
And so yes, I strongly recommend having a to-do list for projects. Whether it's a short film or a feature film or any kind of project you're working on, always have a to-do list, because it makes it much more easy than it is if you're just going off of abstract, I'll do it whenever I can, because obviously you don't know that. It could mess up, but still.
That's all true.
You have to force yourself to work on it sometimes. And like, really the last thing I would say is like, for anybody who would watch this later on, you know, if you're interested in films and filmmaking, I would highly recommend that you go out and make your own shorts or feature if you're up for it. But definitely short films, because if you're trying to get into the film industry, more than ever, short films are going to be your calling card to get into the industry. So it is most beneficial to your career beginning that you make a short film, and preferably several, because the more you make, the more you learn about how to do different aspects, both creatively and practically. Not only are you working with abstract ideas of creativity and writing, but you're also working with concrete things like, okay, who is available? What do I have to use? You know, what props do I have? What locations do I have? And also, you know, so there's a lot of things that you have to think about to even make just the simplest of short films. They look simple, but they're really quite complex if you dig deep into what they're actually made of. So my advice to anybody watching would be, if you feel inspired, to go out and make your own short film. So the last question for you would be, what are some of your expectations for future collaborations where I'm directing a short film or something?
Well, if we do end up doing another one of these short films, or even a slightly longer film, I would like to meet this, Gabe, is it?
Yeah.
I would like to meet this Gabe person, work with him and maybe see if we could, work together, decently. Like to see if we can, but
Yeah.
hopefully we can do that next time we make a short film.
Okay.